off the conference championship, and you've got a lot of returning starters, a lot of returning players this upcoming season. What's the expectations for this team heading into the 2017 season?
Well, from a coach's perspective, we just want to keep growing our program. It's been a long climb for us, and last year I think we really played well down the stretch, and winning the Sun Belt tournament and playing in the NCAA. That gave us a lot of momentum moving forward. And as you mentioned, having 4 starters back is key to that momentum moving forward as well. So our guys are, particularly our seniors, they want to keep growing the program and keep moving forward. And so our next step is to really make a move in the regular season standings.
How can the play in the end of last season, how can that kind of carry over to kind of get you guys, I guess, off to a better start this year?
Well, we played well in non-conference play last year. The one thing about our level, we're going to have to play teams from higher conferences and early on, and it's hard to have a really good non-conference record. But the confidence that we took from how well we played down the stretch and how we played in the Sun Belt tournament, that's got to take our team to another level. Moving into the opening part of our schedule, we really built our schedule up to a really challenging standpoint for our team. If you just look at it from day one, when we opened up with North Dakota, who won the Big Sky and played in the NCAA tournament, right off the bat out there in Hawaii, we've got a challenge on our hands, and it doesn't slow down throughout the entire non-conference schedule.
Let's talk about the process that you and the staff implemented when you first got here. I know the wins didn't come quite as soon as you had hoped, but it looks like staying the course and persevering really paid off, because it looks like this team developed into what you had hoped it would be.
Well, our challenge when we got here was we were called to change the recruiting style. It went from, when we got here, 12 out of 13 players on the roster were junior college transfers, and Dr. Hawkins and John Hartwell at the time, they wanted us to put more of an emphasis on high school recruiting. Not that we had to totally recruit high school guys, but a much more emphasis in that area. And so we changed it. And, for example, when we got here, there were no guys, no players on our roster. We have 13 scholarships, and we had no players on the entire roster from the state of Alabama. Well, moving forward, 4 years later, now we have 5 guys on the roster, and they're all really talented players, some of the best players we have on the team. So we've made an emphasis in change, and we went through a time there where it was hard to climb up the rankings within a Sun Belt, because A, the Sun Belt's a really talented league, and B, it's just a senior junior league like most leagues are, but Sun Belt tends to be a transfer and a junior college transfer league sometimes. So it took us a while to really get there. We were doing a lot of good things off the court. Recruiting was going well. Academic, we had really made a change academically and had a lot of success in that area, but we hadn't won. And last year we made that move, and then we won in the postseason. So now our goal, when we got here, our goal was to build a program to the point where we could consistently compete for the Sun Belt title year in, year out, not just be one year really well and then the next year dip back down. We want to be consistent, and that really goes along with our theme of a day-to-day. Let's bring it every day, the best effort, best attitude possible, and just get better every day. So I think if you look at our program in general, that's where we are now, because as a coach, what we do, we look at our roster and we say, okay, where are we as a program? Well, it's real simple. Look at your roster and see what kind of talent you have in place. And we feel good about our talent, not only those 4 seniors we have on the team, but our young talent and middle talent and the way the recruiting is going. So I think we're really on solid footing. But now our challenge in a really one of the best mid-major leagues in the country is to keep moving forward.
This team revolves really around Wes Person, what he does. He's the leader of this program. How have you seen him kind of develop during his career here in Troy, where he's at now this year?
Well, when he came in here, he had a professional approach to everything he did. Really unique for a kid out of high school. But if you look at his lineage, and you could see that, I mean, it wasn't a total surprise with his father and his uncle. But from day to day, his approach has been phenomenal. If you've been a coach or you've been around athletics, you'll understand his statement. But a lot of times as a coach, you have conflict with your players, and just for all kinds of risks. Is he practicing hard that day? Did he come ready to practice? Is he locked in on what you're doing in practice? Has he been, did he mess up academically somewhere along the way? I can tell you in over 3 years with Wesley Person, we haven't had 1 ounce of conflict with him, and that's just you can't imagine how rare a statement that is. But that says a lot to his background, to his mom, the way she raised him, and his father, and just his character in general. He's been a great example for the word student athlete. He's excelled on the court and off the court, but he is really He's not a real verbal guy. He's not the guy that's going to be leading, although he's doing better. But he leads by example day to day. He's been phenomenal in that sense, and we're going to miss him when he's gone. But we're going to enjoy him one more season.
Got a couple of talented freshmen in this upcoming class. Just what was it like getting some recruits like that to come here to Troy? What does that say now to where this program is at from where it was when you started here?
Well, I can tell you our recruiting has changed, and we got two guys last year. We signed them both early, both Alabama kids, Javen Johnson from Decatur and Malik Burnett from Huntsville, and we got them in the early signing period when we hadn't turned the corner yet as a program. So that tells you a lot about them and their belief and where we were heading. But adding them to the roster, if you look at last year's class in the state of Alabama, those two guys were both rated in the top 10. And I think Javen was 6 and maybe Malik was 8 in one of the reports. And last year's Alabama, the senior class in the state of Alabama was one of the best for basketball in a long time. 5 or 6 guys went high major and playing in the SEC right now. So to get 2 guys out of the top 10 really meant something to us. And we can see on the court, we can see their talent every day. They're not quite ready, as you know, most freshmen aren't ready, but they're going to be out there just because they're talented. They're both athletic. And they're both just really good kids and just very coachable. But it means a lot to us because we want to be really solid in recruiting the state. Again, we've got 5 players from the state of Alabama on this roster, and every one of them can play. They're not on this roster just because their zip code says they're from Alabama. They're on this roster because they can play, and we're expecting big things from them.